Hello world, how's it going? And today I thought I'd share with you guys an update on the Aquatic Experience scape tank that I did back in last November at the last Aquatic Experience. It was 2017. And yeah, it's been in my house and in my living room for quite some time now, and I thought I'd do an update, and so let's get to it. Alright, so here's the tank. Sits in my living room. It's looking pretty good. It's doing fairly well. But what's really neat and what I want to show you guys about this is, like, I had some plants just pop out of nowhere. Like, this was never put in here. I never even owned this plant. I don't even know where it came from. It might have come from in the Rhetia somewhere, but I'm not sure. It looks like some sort of bulbous. And then same with the moss. This moss kind of popped out of nowhere, which this is pilo moss. So if you guys have seen this on my website, this is what the pilo moss looks like. And yeah, I thought that was kind of cool that some plants just kind of like came up out of nowhere. And I did end up like burning the Rhetia a little bit, because I'm guessing the cause was I ended up dosing potassium 2 days in a row, because I was thinking, oh, I'm probably heavy on iron and copper and traces and stuff like that, so if I double dose potassium I should be alright. But it ended up like turning it colors, but it's actually bouncing back now. It's looking real good. And here you can see more of this like bulbous plant. It's kind of hard to tell. There we go. Now you can really see into it. And I haven't actually done any like scraping or maintenance to this tank in a long time. And you can see that cave's actually grown in. That actually goes back and through and out the other way. Same with up in this crevice. But yeah, I haven't done any scraping, any real maintenance to it. Rarely gets a water change. Now, I did have crystal red shrimp in here, but for some reason they didn't end up taking too well, and they just kind of slowly faded out. But you know, you win some, you lose some. I don't know if it's the CO2. It's probably the CO2 they don't like or didn't like. Now, it's not perfect by any means. Up here you can see there's actually algae up on top. Now, if I did more frequent water changes, stuff like that, I could probably get rid of it, because you can see, actually, here, if you look on this driftwood, you can see this discolored algae. Well, that's not even algae, that's dead algae. So, if I were to just kind of pick that off and pull that stuff out, it would go away. But like I said, I haven't been doing any maintenance on this, really. But I love how the baby tears is naturally growing up the wood, the manzanita. Looks pretty cool. And then this island on the other end of the tank of baby tears has been growing really nicely. That's kind of weird. I don't know if this floated from somewhere else. Look how tiny this baby tears is. Those leaves are itty bitty. Look at it compared to the other growth. And there's actually a bunch of cyanobacteria in here. Within this mat. It only lays in this mat for some reason. There you can kind of see it on the bottom. There's a little bit of it in there. I did order something to try to get rid of that, so I'll test that out. I've actually never dealt with cyanobacteria, and it's actually been under control fairly well, so I haven't really messed with it, you know. But overall, it's looking pretty good. I'm really digging it. So for those who think I just keep breed fish and shrimp and stuff like that, do like to aquascape. I actually wish I had more time to do aquascaping, because it can be very rewarding when you get layouts and setups like this. It really didn't take a lot of effort either. Yeah, it took like some material. A lot of it's just getting enough material to do such a thing, like all this big lava rock that can be really hard to find, manzanita wood. And then you just kind of start placing things and make it look natural. But the key to really get scape looking really well is to make it look like it's bigger than what the tank is. So if you look on the side of this tank is actually really shallow. So that's my hand. It's only like 2 of my hands. So it's probably like, I don't know, 14 inches, something like that. But if you look in the front of it, it looks like it goes back a lot farther. And the trick to that is right here in these sticks. So you got layer, 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 a layer, a layer, and another layer of sticks. So you've got multiple layers of sticks, which creates depth. And you could do the same thing with rocks. You could do the same thing with plants. When you have that, have it like staggered off here and there and kind of like showing a different depth. And it can only be like inches apart, but to the eye, it can look a lot farther away. Like, see, you look down underneath there, look how far back that looks like it goes. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this is manzanita driftwood, and then I have big lava rock, which I hear is really hard to find anymore, so I'm kind of lucky with that. And as far as the fish, I had chili rasboras in here. And I filled the water up too high. So this is kind of a dirty truth about rimless tanks. If you're not careful, your fish can slip up and out real easily. Because over here, see how it sticks up a little bit? Because the filter, right there, they get up in that corner and get up against that filter and try to run against that current. And they just flop their way right out. Found them on the floor, all of them crisp. Very unfortunate. But what I'm planning and thinking about doing is putting some more chili rasboras and cabochon rasboras. So a red and a green small rasbora in here. Or I got these tiny teddies. I may put these tiny teddies in here too, which is like, I think they're one of the world's like smallest fish, and it's a live bearer. I think they would just go crazy in there. But I gotta be careful about what I choose to put in here, because it's not gonna be that easy to get it out if I want to get it out. So whatever I decide to put in here, it's gonna have to be something that stays in here and that I want to breed. So let's talk about the plants here. It looks like this is some kind of I don't know, what is that? Window Java or Java Fern? Actually, I'm not sure where that even came from. So that's another mystery plant that came in here. This is Mini Pelia, and it is some cool stuff. I really dig it. And it loves to attach itself to things. Then here we got regular Java Fern, and I mentioned the Pilo Moss. Then also these random Bulbitis. So there's not a whole lot of different plants in here, but it is really effective. Wow, that's cool. Look at this ledge back here. That is awesome. I didn't even know this existed. See, I don't get a chance to actually look in this tank that much either, since like I said, don't do much maintenance on it, and I'm just so busy with all my other tanks. But yeah, once again, that's depth right there. Is when you add that depth, how you got that little layer back there. In here, there's another tunnel up here, goes back and through. So there's actually tunnels and whatnot that go all through here, so the fish and shrimp and whatever lives in here can get around. But yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. There's lots of good angles to this tank too. Like you can look, and that's another thing to take in factor, is try to make it viewable from multiple sides. That way it's got, you know, something different to look at everywhere you go, you know. But yeah, so there's an update on the scape tank. I think it's looking pretty good. Especially now that I'm looking into it. I'm loving it. And as far as the equipment, this is just a LED light from Fluval. I'm not sure what model it is. It has a little touch sensor. And it's put kind of like medium light. And this is the only tank I actually have a filter on. So here's a Fluval 206. And I haven't touched this ever since I set it up. So it's never been maintained. It's just doing its thing. So the beneficial bacteria and everything's cleaning the water. And it does have CO2, pressurized CO2 on it. Hence why it looks so well. And to give you an idea of the maintenance that I have done on this tank, since I've had it since November of 2018, I actually only changed the water 3 times in it. I've scraped the glass once, and I've only pulled algae out once. And it's actually been a couple months since I did that. So yeah, I mean, I guess you can call this low maintenance and low tech. I don't know, I wouldn't really call it low tech. Having pressurized CO2 and a canister filter and all that. But yeah, like hardly any maintenance. So it's not really that difficult to keep a scape tank. It's just you gotta let nature do its thing. You got to let nature do its thing. Now, it did have a period where algae got all over the place, as far as like on the wall, and there was a lot of hair algae going down too. But I did a water change, pull a little bit of that out, actually leveled everything off, and the algae was because excess nutrients. And the snails, this is why I'm pro snails. Snails help clean up all this glass and everything else for me, and they actually made a lot of the work of that algae bloom that first initially started when I set up the tank. Well, actually that happened maybe, I would say 2-3 months after I set up the tank. I don't know, but there's all kinds of cool views. And here's what it looks like without the moss. It's more open. Did a water change and cleaned the glass. Wesley's getting some videos too. And yeah, I think it looks good. Alright, so there you go. There's an update on the Aquatic Experience 2017 Aquascape tank that I brought up and brought back with me. It was a real pain in the butt getting it here, and it really made for a hard time. But the fruits of my labor, definitely enjoying them. And I can't wait to get fish in it. And I still got to decide between the tiny teddies or the Cabotia rasboras and the chili rasboras. I don't know, maybe I could do all 3. The color contrast would kind of throw it off though. Really love the color contrast of chili rasboras and Cabotia rasboras. So that's the one I'm kind of leaning towards, but I would love to have a bunch of these tiny teddies because they're really neat fish. Matter of fact, I'll show you what one looks like real quick. Now here are the tiny teddies. These things are itty bitty. I try to get them in focus, but they got stripes on them. There you go. These are like full grown, I guess. And they're live bears. They got the gono, whatever, I can't remember what they call it, a gondo pendulum or something like that, that the endlers have. But yeah, these are cool fish, so I don't know, it'd be cool to have a big group of them in there. But yeah, I still don't know yet what I want to do, but I got plenty of time to figure that out. I got plenty of stuff to mess with. It gets crazy around here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys may have learned something. And until next time, peace.